Alright, we're live. This is episode 8 of Expedition to Castle Ravenloft in the 13th Age, and we are one man down for our makeup session, but I think that we're okay. I swear, I didn't hit Pierce that hard, Heinrich that hard, that Pierce has actually, left us, but, Alright, so, last session, we did the reading by Madame Eva, as you guys visited the Vistani, and you decided based on cues that you had from her that you were going to try and search out the Sun Sword, which you were going to check out the ruins of the old monastery on the Saga Hill, and then you were ambushed on the way out of the encampment by flying skulls, not skulls, right, flying heads that had been desiccated with big flappy ears and really, really horrible breath, probably. And in the midst of that, when you guys were not at your best, this tall, barbaric-looking guy in leathers just kind of leapt out of the bushes and taunted you and smacked Heinrich down and basically told you all just to go back in town and cower because you're not worth his time or the master's time. You guys put a potion down Heinrich's throat, which saved him, and then that's where we left off. You guys are dealing with the aftermath of that fight and deciding if you're going to continue with that course of action, how are you going to tend to Heinrich, and that sort of thing.
All right. So, was I there for this and just kind of passive, or was I back guarding what's her name at the manor?
She is with us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we kind of convinced her that she's as safe with us on the road as she would be at home because whoever it is that came in and killed her father could just as easily come in and kill her. So she is with us. So I'm assuming that you're with us as well. You just passive.
Yeah, I would have to have been probably.
So we're, I believe, the three of us are poisoned, with a poison that I think you said it stops.
It prevents you from healing.
Yes,
I believe. Let me bring up the stat block again. Oh, that was from the first chapter. Yeah, I pretty much scaled the Vargwheel, which were mooks, up on the fly, and I may have overcompensated a little bit. Alright, Jagged Bite. Damage and poison. You cannot be healed normally until the poison is cured. So you could heal magically, but natural healing, such as by taking a rest, won't function.
So does that mean that we did not heal from our level up, or would that not heal us anyway?
Ooh, good question. I think usually a level up would occur when you've got some downtime, and so that you would heal up to full normally. I leveled you up when I did because I realized that I probably should have done it the moment that you guys were leaving town, basically. And so I was a little late in that, and that may be part of the reason why you guys went so poorly in that fight. So, well, part of the reason anyway. So I would say regain half of whatever you're missing. Might be a good compromise. So if you're missing if you're 20 short of your fold, then you regain 10, that sort of thing.
All right, sounds good.
And then we'll take it from there. So 3 of you are poisoned. 1 of you is definitely down to almost nothing because the only healing he had was the potion. And you've got your NPC. And did he take over her character? Was he the one with her stats?
Yes. I think I took notes as far as some of her stats were.
Okay, let me give them to you again real quick. So this wasn't Ashlyn with you. This was, excuse me, this was Irina.
Yes.
Okay, so Irina is... this is her monster block. Her initiative is +3, but just have her act on your initiative. That'll make things easier. She can attack with a longsword or crossbow. That's +7 to hit to deal 7 damage. She has 36 hit points. Her armor class is 18. Her physical defense is 16. And her mental defense is 12. And then, of course, there's the secret things you don't know. So, whenever she's got something to say, I'll take care of her role-playing wise, but tactically, she's all yours.
Okay. Alright, so I guess we can either try and get rid of this poison. That might be the best way because Heinrich can't heal himself, basically, right?
That's correct. Well,
because
he could use magic to do it. He's not here, and I'm not familiar with the cleric options on healing. I would guess that if he's here passively, we could just use his healing for him.
And most of them are you cast it and you get a recovery plus 2d8 or whatever.
I'm not even sure it's that much. Those are more...
Or like 1d8, yeah.
His basic healing is like, it's recovery plus, I think, a d8. I think it's level 5, it might be 2d8. But
Well, the class feature heal says, quick action, twice per battle, you or an ally you're next to, affect target, you can heal using a recovery. It's only if he has the champion feat that he adds a d10 times his charisma modifier to the recovery.
It also depends on... I think there's like a domain or a talent that adds to it.
Oh, yes. So if he has the healing domain...
Oh, no, it doesn't gain more. It gives you...
an additional use.
Yeah. The bonus, you know what it is? If the bonus we're thinking about is healing potions, because they do give you a hit point bonus.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yes.
Of, yeah.
All right.
Sorry, so that wouldn't do him any good, really, right? Because he said recoveries...
Well, no, because it's magic enabling the recovery.
Oh, okay.
The recovery acts as a limit in general, to the but whether you do it naturally through rest or magically through a spell, it's just a limit on how much healing you can do from one full heal up to the next.
Yeah. It's probably still a good idea to get rid of this poison, I would think.
I think it's a really good idea to get rid of the poison first.
I hate to go backwards, but...
Sometimes you got to take a step backwards so you can move forward again. And in this case, I mean, we could keep going, but I think it would be a tremendously bad idea.
Yeah, especially since I believe Madame Eva said that the Sun Sword can be found where death is the strongest, or something along those lines. Which
Pierce is the one that took all those notes too, isn't he?
I think I do have that. Yeah, it's a place of death among dead. So, yeah.
Is that where you find it, or is that where it's activated? Because there was 2 parts to that, whereas the power sleeps, and you had to go to another location in order to...
We must bring it to its home in the sacred part of the castle. That's the icon. Do I have anything on the sword? Place of blasphemy. That's where it is. That's where the sword is. The sword is in the place of blasphemy, and it has. I think all we know is that it has a link to the castle.
Right. So the place of blasphemy, I believe Irina filled you in on this. She used to read books from her father's library, and one of the stories that she was fascinated with was the stories of the old monastery that used to exist on top of Lasaja Hill. And it was a place of refuge, particularly for noble people who needed to kind of get away from things. Usually it'd be like where the unwanted pregnancy goes to be unseen until everything was taken care of, or whatever other chicanery that nobles can sometimes get up to. But the place ultimately fell under the weight of all these weird things that were going on. A lot of rumors, a lot of talk of debauchery and all kinds of nasty, unholy stuff going on. And eventually the whole thing just burnt down, leaving the ruins that are there today. And it kind of sits on top of that hill like a broken crown. And its proximity, for Aaron's sake, let me flip to the thing here. Okay. So you can see the Sarah Pool, which is where the river opens up to be a lake. And as you go up, you can actually see Lasaja Hill as it's labeled on the map. So it's almost like you're going to the castle.
Yeah, yeah.
And I believe you guys did that loop around around, and you were coming up around the back end. So you're coming up around up here, I think.
Yeah, because the other side was sheer cliffs.
Yeah, and that's where you got ambushed, because I think you were looking for the shortest way up.
Yeah.
Because over here was too steep of a climb.
Right.
Because you had all that combined. So that's kind of where you're at right now. So that's probably a day or 3/4 of a day's journey to get back to the Sarah Pool because of the distance. Or you can try and camp out and try and work things out. Either way, at this point, it's going to be getting dark within a couple of hours, especially now that you're under cover of the forest. So whatever decision that you make, you're probably going to be caught out at night.
Yeah. I think with the fact that we're going to be caught out at night, regardless of what we decide, I think we best spend the last couple of hours of daylight getting a camp ready, especially if we can find a defensible, maybe not defensible, but hidden place that we can camp for the night. And then perhaps in the morning, if we can't figure out anything overnight, we can decide whether to head back or to continue onward.
That makes sense.
Maybe find some place that, since we're on a hill, maybe, someplace where we can get our backs to a wall or
yeah.
Something a little bit more defensible than just sitting out in the open, because who knows when these damn flappy heads are going to be back.
Well, apart from it being exposed to the sky up on top of the hill, the ruins could provide some of that back-to-the-wall cover that you're asking for, assuming, of course, you're not expecting any trouble up there.
That's kind of the thing, is that we did. If this is supposed to be a place of blasphemy, and we've already run into trouble even getting here, I suspect that the ruins are not going to be exactly a safe haven. Even in the best of times, ruins tend to be inhabited by dangerous creatures, natural or otherwise. And heading to the ruins at night seems a bad idea.
What if we use the cliffs as a wall? Camp out against them?
That seems like a good idea. Does the forest go up to the cliffs?
Absolutely, they do.
Okay, then yeah, I agree that heading up to the cliffs, maybe we can find a little a recessed area in the cliffs that'll give us a little more cover. Yeah,
good.
I can't think of any other better ideas at the moment. So.
Yep, sounds good to me.
Let's go then.
All right. So, moving in towards the hill as if you were going to go up it, and then you reach the steep hill, almost cliff-like, and just kind of working around its rim, looking for a place for a recess. And you do find what looks like a couple of large trees that fell down, but they fell down against the cliff. So providing a little bit of a natural shelter, or the framework for one that you could easily build out by cutting down some boughs, and laying them over, maybe lashing them tight with some twine or rope that you have handy. And you can create yourself a nice little shelter that way, where you don't have to worry about the rain if it were to come, or much of anything else. And it gives you a little screen for the fire too, if you like.
Yeah, I think a fire is probably a good idea. Getting rid of this poison, I suspect we're going to need a fire one way or another.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's probably the best bet at this point. We'll get settled in and get kind of start thinking about what we're going to do about this poison. Because I know none of us are really feeling that great, especially Heinrich. So.
Well, I noticed that from the cleric spell lists when I looked at them a while back, there really aren't any spells in 13th Age to cure disease or to cure poison.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much going to be the realm of potions or ritual, if you could extrapolate something. One of the other things that you might consider is if any of you have a medical style background other than Heinrich, you could employ that as a skill check or a series of skill checks in order to try and resolve. I'm going to treat this pretty much like a ritual. It's going to be up to you to decide what potentially could be useful here and kind of narrate that through, and we'll see how it grows out from there. It may be something that you decide you're not capable of doing in the wilds on your own. You might need to go back to the Vistani camp or back to home, and this may just turn into a scouting trip. It's really up to what you can come up with here.
Well, I'm gonna ask Irina who, if they had any tales of these flying heads around town, if they had been seen or if anybody had been attacked by them or and lived to tell the tale.
In all the histories of the area that she's read, she hasn't heard of anything like this. This is new.
Oh, great.
And I think that when I trying to keep the two games straight here, because I'm running this for another group, did I say anything about whether Irina was aware of Ravenloft being a domain placed unto itself?
No.
Okay, then that's something I ad-libbed for the other group. It's not necessarily true in your case. It's just something that I came up with for one of the two groups. I couldn't remember which.
Yeah, I think you said that she knew that not many people come and go, and when they do, they just kind of come out of the mist. And I think that's about all she said.
That I remember.
Okay. So, these are new. These are unlike anything that she's read about or have seen. So it's a mystery to her what they are or where they came from.
Okay, well, since we don't know how to treat this poison exactly, who normally treats disease and sickness and snake bites and other poison things in the town usually?
Like an apothecary or something like that?
Well, they did have a couple of physicers, and sadly they died in the zombie thing.
Of course they did.
But the Vistani who keep to themselves rarely came into town for services like that, so quite likely there may be someone among them that could provide you what you need.
Before we do that, I mean, we might as well try to see if we can come up with anything overnight before we in the morning, if we haven't come up with anything, we can head back to talk to the Vistani. But we should try to see if there's anything we can come up with tonight.
And I think I implied that the Vistani's prices might be a little steep. We de-stenched Kenthis,
Mhm.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm clean.
Or at least as clean as you can be.
So, because he didn't have anything really with which to pay her that she was interested in, they negotiated for a future favor. And as such, he was supposed to give her a token to represent that favor that she could use to call upon him when she was ready to collect. Maybe she might send an emissary with the token to invoke that favor. And he had made a carving with his own hands, no less. It's not like, he gave him, a piece of paper with a mark on it or something. He actually handcrafted something to give her, and she got all glowy and happy that she had this handmade thing that she could use to as leverage over Kenthis.
That makes it sound less nice. But, okay.
I'm not sure if they were supposed to be that nice, given his.
Well, they did kind of make a big deal of how they would have been suffering from the zombie thing once it broke out of town, too. So they greeted you all very warmly. But the madam is kind of a thing unto herself, even among the Vistani. So you guys were paid in answers to questions, which was the initial reading that you had. And then afterwards, hey, can we get Kenthis de-stenched? It's like, well, okay, well, now we're going to negotiate a little bit. So.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Never mind.
Now, Kenthis, don't you have some sort of survival skills? Maybe you could find, dig up some herbs or something that could help us?
Yeah, I could try that. Survivalist role.
And I don't know much about surviving on the streets. Yeah, I was on the streets, I should say, and I don't have much nature lore.
Yeah, well, what you scavenged came from a apothecary's place.
Yeah, it's like
So I
don't know where the chicken came from. I just stole the chicken, type of thing.
All right. Can I make a roll for that? Survivalist. See if I can find any helpful herbs to maybe even just slow the spread of it, or I don't know, temporarily neutralize it. All right. Well, I rolled a 2, which seems to be a common theme, which gives me a total of 12.
Okay, well, definitely 12 is not going to do it. You can find herbs for your dinner. You can find rabbit tracks. You can find. You can tell the direction of those now increasingly and disturbingly persistent wolf calls in the distance. And you can find all kinds of stuff except what you need.
Well, then I come back to camp with some of those edible herbs you mentioned and chew on them as though that was my plan all along.
I would like to try the same. I'm going to use. I used to be a mercenary captain, and I'm sure we've run into any number of poisoned things, and it's possible that I might recognize the nature of the poison and find something.
Absolutely.
So, wisdom or intelligence?
Either one would work. You can take the best of them.
I'm going to use wisdom since I think it's going to be more experience than outright knowledge. So 11. Ooh, 30 actually.
Oh well, 30 would be fine.
19 on the dice.
That does very well. So, there are things that you know that are generally effective against poisons of different kinds, and you've known poisons that can keep wounds bleeding when they should be healing, and things like that. Stuff that could kind of model the I can't heal sort of thing. So, finding the herbs that you need is not an easy task, but it's one that after a couple of hours of rooting around in the fading light, you can manage. But I'm going to ask for one additional check to put it into a useful form.
Okay. Let's see. I guess I'm gonna make the same roll, unless anybody else has like an alchemy background, that would be more appropriate.
About the closest I come is watching the clerics of the first hand kind of do their thing, but that's like saying you can juggle because you watch somebody juggle, so that's not going to be any good.
Yeah, I think I need to muddle these herbs and then maybe. Yeah, most of this stuff is either a poultice or a potion. So which direction do we think we want to go on this? And
that's about the gist of it. Yeah.
Alright. I'll roll my Koro Behemoth Nomad, thinking that would involve some sort of keeping the behemoth and the people on it healthy. So
okay.
I'll do that plus wisdom.
Yeah, sadly, although I have Heinrich's backgrounds here, I don't have his numbers.
22.
Yes, that'll be fine. So, preparation of the how are you producing this? Is this potion or poultice?
I'm gonna make it a potion. I'm basically making it like tea, and then when the hot water has extracted everything, I will muddle it. I'll make it like a freaking mint julep. They're probably a lot less tasty.
So Ragnar's cooking dinner tonight.
Yeah, I'm cooking the cocktail anyway to go alongside dinner.
Well then, at this hour, there's pretty much not much left that you can do aside from drink up and hope that everything is well in the morning.
I can be a guinea pig if you want, Ragnar. I mean, I've been through worse, so.
All right, here you try some. I'm gonna go dig a latrine because even if it works, I think we're gonna need it.
Okay.
While this is going on, you said there were wolf cries in the distance?
Yes, but the distance isn't quite what it was. The distance is much closer. I think
Can I start building the fire while they dig latrines and sample potions?
I think the fire's been going.
Yeah. Well, if you want to grab extra wood, like to use as torches or to just make sure that you don't run low over the course of the night, you could definitely do that. This is an old forest. There's not a lot of people camping around here, so there's a lot of deadfall all over the place, and getting wood for the fire, dead simple.
All right, I'll do that.
Well, simple. Dead simple is.
Don't say that word.
It's not foreshadowing. I wouldn't want to think that I'm sprinkling these things throughout my
Yeah.
You can definitely tell the difference when I'm DMing on a day that's not a work day.
And I'm just gonna kind of clear, as after either before or after, or during, when Ragnar's doing the potion making, I'm going to just kind of try and clear an area as best I can around the campsite, just so that things can't sneak up on us as easily. And I'm definitely gonna lash things together so that with those trees, so that we can so nothing can bombard us from overhead, especially head type things.
All right. So this is kind of like when you're first setting up camp and establishing the shelter. You're kind of like clearing away to a certain perimeter.
Yeah.
And there's some small trees because of the extra light that comes in down the hill and stuff that you can do, but you really can't do anything about the larger trees.
Yeah. Just like the underbrush and like any like bushes and ferns and things like that I can kind of clear out fairly easily.
You can get 10, maybe 15 feet in some places by clearing out that brush.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely... Yeah, and honestly, that's probably about as far as your firelight's going to go anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I'm done with it, but that's okay.
I am going to assume that you're establishing some sort of watch.
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
for sure.
So give me a moment here while I roll some dice. Alright. The night passes without incident. And by the time that you reach the morning, you feel better. It was a fitful sleep, and you sweat profusely as the medicine worked its magic and you sweated out the poison. By the time the morning comes, you guys can spend recoveries to bring your hit points back up.
All right. I am.
And Aaron, I know that you were passive. We didn't actually involve you in combat, so you don't you would have had a full rest at the Vistani camp.
Mhm.
So you should already be at full rather than tallying up for the last time you played.
Do you want us to do that halfway recover thing for our recoveries, or do you just want all of our recoveries to come back?
You guys are different because you guys, I think, had a full heal up.
We did.
Yeah.
Oh, right,
So,
because of the...
so this isn't another full heal up. This is one of the things that I find confusing about how things are written in 13th Age. They may say daily, but they really mean per full heal up, and a full heal up is not an overnight like it is in D&D or a lot of other things. So a full heal up could be a certain number of encounters or significant downtime if you hit that. It's not necessarily just because you bump down for the night.
Right.
So you don't get your recoveries back, but certainly that constitutes the short rest that you would have needed in order to spend your recoveries. And now that the medicine's had time to work and the morning is here, you can spend some of those recoveries that you had from your last full heal up to heal now.
I meant by the level up, sorry. Because you said, like, we get half back of
yeah,
what we
yeah. Half of whatever the difference was you could have had, and then you could spend your recoveries now.
Alright.
And I didn't see Bryant or hear Bryant rolling anything, so I assume you're good?
Well, yeah, I'm only 15 hit points down, so I used one recovery, and which is 5d10 plus 4. So I'm
Yeah, you're good.
That would have gotten me. Plus, I have feats that I can reroll any ones or twos on recoveries. So
Yeah, we can call that
pretty
good.
much is a guarantee.
John, let us know when you're done rolling dice.
Alright, I'm just trying to remember what my actual hit dice are, to be honest.
Well,
I think they're a D6.
I think so.
Yeah, it's a D6 or a D8. I think the sorcerers were a 6, just like the wizard. So,
Total
well,
hit
look
And
at
you
that. I opened right up to the sorcerer. So, you
6
would have
plus-
had level 5. Yep, it's a D6.
And I guess I get 8 of them?
Yes.
Alright. I guess I'll just take
No.
the average on that.
That's total hit points. You get for your level, which is 5, when you spend a recovery.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Plus your constitution modifier.
Alright.
Well, that's interesting. You don't multiply the constitution modifier for the healing like you do for damage.
No.
Well, I'm set then.
Okay. Alright. So, it is early morning. It's not dawn because it takes a lot longer for the sun to reach you when you're in this spot. And of course, the canopy is very thick. So, you guys are waking up to probably, getting ready to move on probably around 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. And you're faced with this steep hill that's going to be a difficult climb going to the top of Lasaja Hill. Unless, And if you didn't think of anything better, we're on to the line. Let me throw up that map again real quick so you can have a sense of where things are. So, when you look at the map and you see the what looks like cliff faces, those are each 500 feet. So it's about 1,000 feet uphill to get to the top, on average.
Mhm.
And here you've got that resting spot halfway up. Or actually, hold on here. Alright. No, I take that back. Because here's where things were different, and this is why you took this route. I remember now. As you go around on the road, you notice that where the road almost hits the cliff disappears. So part of the reason why you guys were going around is because the road is at an uphill, and so you get that first 500 feet out of the way through the long walk on the road.
Yeah.
So now you've just got that little strip and then a 500-foot climb, so to speak. And I would say that that's probably less of a steep climb back here than it would have been up front.
I have rope and dragon's leap, which could help.
And
I've got rope as well.
what's the
Sorry,
second
what was that?
thing?
I said I've got rope as well.
Yeah, but John said he has rope and I missed that second thing.
Dragon's leap. It's a fly spell that works for 1 turn, so kind of.
Oh, Dragon's Leap. Got it. Okay.
So, I mean, is this the kind of steep that you absolutely have to actually climb, or is it the kind that you can hike and
No,
sweat a lot?
I'm gonna say from coming up the back end, it could be hike and sweat a lot. I don't see a need to make this into a skill check or anything.
All right, you guys want to just do it? I don't.
Yeah, I've hiked worse, so we'll get up there, especially if we get up there before nightfall. That'd be the best.
All right,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Well, I think that you guys can get up there after lunch, so maybe 1:00-ish, 1:30-ish. And the reason why, a couple of hours, even though it's not a huge distance, as the crow flies, it's that uphill that's going to be your challenge there.
And through the forest and things like that.
Yeah, literally over the hill and through the woods. Alright, so when you get to the top, and I'm just finding my map here. There we are. Nope, that's not it. So you get to the top, and it is very much as I described. It's kind of like a roundish building. It must have been perhaps a massive tower or a, let's call it a keep that had round stone walls rather than the usual square ones. And much of it's fallen down into disrepair. So you have tumbled mason walls all over the place, big chunks of rock, sometimes strewn far and wide as they fell and spilled down the hill or across the field, or sometimes just falling in place where you would actually have to scramble over it, and it would be quite the obstacle to overcome. But enough of the wall has fallen down that you can actually get into the center of the ruins if that's what you wish to do. And they're pretty big. It would have kind of like a mansion and some outbuildings and such on the inside. It could have been possibly a fairly comfortable place to stay back in the day for 20 or 30 people plus, whatever staff it takes. Although being a monastery, for all you know, they probably were doing a lot of their own work.
Well, this thing probably isn't going to be out in the open on the first floor, so I'm assuming it's going to be in a basement somewhere.
Before we go anywhere, maybe I should do a stealthy sort of scout ahead, just peek over the wall, make sure there isn't anything inside, since we've seen these skull things and I forget what his name was, but the guy who murderized Heinrich.
Yeah. That sounds like it might not be a bad first. Certainly wouldn't hurt.
I mean, I don't know. I know Ember probably doesn't have much stealth-wise, but
No.
Raghnar, do you have any? Any stealth?
I figured that it's part of being a mercenary. So now occasionally you have to do the recon. So yeah, I can stealth a bit.
What's your dexterity? Well, we'll go by total bonus.
Dexterity is a 14.
All right. Sounds like. Well, if I do it, I'll get a +9 bonus to stealth. So if you have higher, then you go.
My total is 7 plus the skill. So
All right, then.
Plus 12.
That sounds like you should go then.
All right. All right. So I guess I'm gonna go sneak around and poke my head around corners and over walls and see if there's anything to be found.
So as you enter, and I'll call for a roll if there's a need for an opposed check. As you enter the ring of stone, you feel a chill, like the stones themselves had cooled in the night, and they're radiating that coolness back at you, the same way that the same stones you assume would radiate that heat of the sun back to you in the evening. You're getting all the chill of the evening here in the midday, right from these stones, kind of concentrating inward. And it literally sends a chill down your spine, sort of thing. But poking around, I guess I should ask you for some sort of perception check.
Okay.
As you're scouting.
26.
Excellent. Alright, so going to give you a quick peek of the map here so you have a general idea of the layout.
Which side are we approaching from?
Whichever side you wish.
Okay.
So you get the idea that there are two, probably the ruins of two buildings where the walls are still standing enough to make out where they were. Mm-hmm. And you find what appears to be a sacred circle inside the perimeter that has very, very faint aura about it. And then in your scouting around, you see from the corner of your eyes sometimes as if something is moving in the shadow. But every time you actually look at the shadow, such as it is here in midday, it turns out to be nothing.
It turns out that I see nothing. At this point, I'm not going to assume that it is nothing.
Okay.
Strange things. I will draw my weapon just in case, just to have it ready. But I'm going to assume that it came in from the south on that map, and I will poke around to the right.
All right.
And see.
Do you want to call us up before you go in on your own?
Well, yeah, no, I don't want to go in. I just want to get a little closer look at it.
Oh, okay.
The larger. Okay, so when you come in from the south, the sacred circle would be to your left. And to the right was the larger of those two buildings on the inside, or the ruins of that. Are you looking around inside the building, or are you just following around outside?
I'm just looking around outside. If there's any windows, I want to take a look. I want to listen for anything. Sounds like it's moving. Sort of thing.
The walls are what remains of the walls are varying heights, where you can see sometimes what would have been part of a window, or you can just look right over the wall at times and look in. There doesn't appear to be anything moving around inside of that area, but as you circle around, you find towards the back a trapdoor.
Okay. Something to keep in mind. I'm not going to go in, obviously. But...
Mm-hmm. And the back area where the trapdoor is, there's a lot of rubble.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks as though there has been traffic going to and from this trapdoor sometime in the past. It's definitely not like it's been undisturbed for ages, sort of thing.
Okay. Can I identify how many people, what sorts of people, or creatures?
I would say that's more of a rangery thing. I would probably want a second check if you're going to rely on perception, or if you've got something that's a little bit more in the woodcraft or tracking people
I could
vein
help with
for your
that.
backgrounds.
Yeah, I'll just make a note of it, and then I'll ask someone else to look at it when I get back out. At this point, it's just I don't need to know right now. It's just before we go in, it would be a good idea to have some idea.
Absolutely.
But all right, since it doesn't seem like there's anything at this one, I will go look at the other one, and on the way, I will look over to the rest of the group, and I'll kind of give them a wave and say everything's okay so far.
All right. Do you want to suggest to me that I check out the thing that needed tracking? The trapdoor.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right. I will make a survivalist check if that's okay.
Absolutely. So you have to negotiate around there to do that, which you can do.
What does that mean? Sorry.
I said you're going to have to walk around to that actual location.
Oh, okay.
To
I thought
do
you
it?
meant like a combat round, which scared me for a second.
No.
Yes, I will definitely do that, and I will roll. Hey, a 16. That's not so bad, and plus 9.
Plus your level, which is
25.
now plus 5.
I got a
Okay.
25.
So you're you can follow tracks going out the east, where a large portion of the wall is coming down, and the tracks get a little clearer there, and you see that there are regular footprints. So you can see things like boot prints, slippers. Well, not slippers, but slider shoes. So you surmise that both men and women have been coming through this area.
Are we talking
But
like?
also,
How recent are we talking? Like repeated traveling in the past, or like past week?
both.
Oh, okay.
This looks to be a fairly common occurrence where people are coming and going through here, and yes, it looks like someone may have come and gone within the past week. You occasionally catch signs of a much larger footprint, like giantess size, as if Madame Eva had been wandering around up here. And occasionally you also catch signs of clawed feet that suggest that something around here wasn't wearing feet. Oh, sorry, wasn't wearing. It wasn't wearing boots or shoes, and perhaps was not human, as you would know it.
No bits of flesh or rotten.
No.
Okay, so not zombies. All right. Well, I share that information. What do you guys think? You know anything with clawed feet around here? I ask. I'm sorry. What's the name of the
Irina?
girl we brought with us?
Irina.
Irina.
No, that is outside of Irina's expertise.
Okay.
When I go into the ruins, I am probably going to be immediately drawn to that circle, and I don't like the looks. I don't like the looks of it. I don't like the feel of it. It's very reminiscent of, to me, of various demon, summoning circles. So I'm going to use my background, both as a demon hunter and as having demon summoning parents, to try and figure out what this circle is.
All right.
See
So
if I
you
can
can do
determine
that.
what's going on with it. 15. 23.
All right. So it's curious that you mentioned demon summoning. One of the things that seem to be standard when summoning demons is some sort of magic circle that either keeps them out or keeps them in.
Right.
And it seems that this shares some of the similar signs of construction to a circle like that. but there's also a component to it that you don't quite identify, and for all you know, it could be specific to what is being summoned or not summoned. But you can tell that it's supposed to have some sort of effect on whatever's inside of whomever is inside the circle.
Okay. Now I have to decide whether I want to try and erase any markings or destroy the circle, or if I think that'll actually release something. I don't know
Or
whether
maybe
it's
it's for protection.
Yeah, I don't know if it's keeping something in or keeping something out. For now, I suppose I won't do anything with it, but I'm gonna tell the other guys, hey, to stay out of that circle, because you may get trapped in there, you may get sucked in from there into another dimension. It's not going to be a good time.
I know this probably won't lead anywhere, but could I possibly just do a quick reference check on my knowledge of ley lines and the placement of that circle?
Absolutely.
Alright, and I guess that would go into my arcane guide background.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Let's see. I got a 19.
Alright. You can definitely tell that there are at least 2 ley lines that intersect here, and probably underneath where that circle is. They intersect underneath the monastery.
Mm-hmm.
If the circle isn't right on top of it, it's certainly close enough to tap into it. You just can't tell if it's using the energy of that circle or not.
Okay. Do I know anything about the flavor of ley line, if they have one? Like, are these healthy ones?
Well, one of the lines leads to the castle.
Okay.
Or off in the direction of the castle, I should say. And on that one, you sense a dark power emanating, almost as if there's a current that's carrying contaminants from that direction in towards here. And where the ley lines would meet, there's a turbulence of sorts, which you're familiar with. But that also means that corruption, that sense of something not being right or healthy, could potentially be carried into the other ley line.
Okay. Interesting.
And
Well,
you would also know that could potentially taint anything that happens from tapping into the lines.
Right. Well, I share that information, and I note that this confirms that the castle is not good news. Which maybe we might, like, out of character, we totally knew that, but so it is a. Did you say it looks like a sun?
No, I didn't
it's just a
describe it.
circle. Okay.
But the circle, I should say, is not. It's not constructed by just putting down some sand or anything. If you think like in normal D&D, you would have the arcane signature, the arcane writing that they can do at first or 0 level.
Yep.
It's like it was magically inscribed. So
Okay.
it's not something that you could just simply smudge over a few symbols in order to disrupt. You would need some working knowledge of magic or of ritual in order to do that.
Well, it seems to me that something important is in that trap door, so I would suggest we put our ears to the door for a second and make sure that no one's down there. So who has the
Okay.
best perception?
Well, that's a question.
I have +6.
I'd be higher than that.
Well, there you go.
Alright, so I guess I'm taking the lead then?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah,
I'll
I
check
guess
around
so.
the door. I'll check around the trapdoor, make sure I can't see into the trapdoor, like through any gaps. And then if I can't see, I'll listen.
All right.
So, good God, my dice is really on fire tonight. 30, again, another 19 on the die.
All right. So, did you say you were opening the trapdoor, or are you just going to listen at it?
No. I wasn't going to open it. I was going to look for like gaps between the door and the. I can't remember the term for it right now.
Yep. Well, no, it's entirely dark down there.
Okay. So after not being able to see, I would have listened.
Mm-hmm. And when you listen, you hear dripping water. You hear like a whistling noise as the wind travels over the cracks, and you feel as though it's occupied down there, but you can't put your finger on as to why. It's not like a single thing stood out to you.
Okay. Well,
It's
I guess
almost as if there's some kind of movement down there, but it's not like you actually heard it.
How big
Kinda
is this trapdoor?
like
Sorry.
feeling the air currents or something like that.
Yeah, sort of. How big is the trapdoor?
Yeah, like could this fit like anything larger than a human?
Yeah, especially if it was careful. So,
Okay.
Madame Eva would have to squeeze in a little bit, using her as your reference, because I know Aaron wasn't here for this, but she had an oversized wagon that she lived in, because she herself stooped was about 6 feet. So she definitely had some giant blood in her somewhere back along the line, or something else that's also remarkably tall.
Yeah.
So, but using her as a frame of reference, she would have had to contort a little bit to get down in it.
So I'm gonna have to, because I'm 6'4".
Yeah. Yeah.
As am I.
Oh, jeez.
What if I were
So
to
clearly the sorcerer is going in first, because he's the most capable.
What if I were to go in first, and then if there's anything dangerous, I can literally fly back out to the top, and then we'll be at the advantage since we have the trap door.
The problem I see with that is that, what if they're waiting in ambush and they get between you and the door?
Would the door be above me?
What Ember will go in first. It's just going to have to be quick in, so hopefully the interior is a little taller. Hopefully. I think, is this like a double door, or is it a single door? I assume they both open out and not in, right?
All right. So, if you recall from your quick glimpse of the map, the trapdoor is hemmed in on 3 sides by that larger building. So you kind of skirted around the larger building into the back between the building and the wall, and there was kind of an alcove there where the building kind of wraps around the trapdoor. Maybe there was another access to this area a long time ago, but you were just able to walk around to get to it. And the trapdoor opens up towards and away from you towards the building. So, it takes a little reaching to push it over if you're going to open it up.
I really don't like that idea, which is why I was asking how it opens up. It would be all too easy for somebody to set up a crossbow or something like that to poke at anybody who comes in who doesn't know about it. Is there like a branch or some other sort of solid, long thing that we can use as a lever to pull this thing up from the?
Absolutely. If it's not on hand, you can easily find one in the surrounding forest.
Okay.
I don't know if you have a shield, Ragnar, but I do. And I can kind of. Yeah. So I can open up the door with the stick and make sure that I'm just kind of looking around my shield and keeping the shield between me and the door.
Yeah.
So in case any crazy head thing comes out at me, I can block it. I'm a little bit freaked out by those head things.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
So, all right. Plan works perfectly. No problem opening up the door. Nothing flies out at you. The sunlight streams into a very dark hole, and there is a ladder climbing straight down. the way that it opens up, you see that if you're to climb down the ladder runs along it's carved into, it runs along the stone going down, but then it's surrounded by, it's kind of like masonry stone where they built as part of the foundation, but then it's got natural stone around it, so you're kind of climbing down into an alcove, and the alcove opens up going forward underneath the building.
All right. Do we want to drop a torch down there first?
The only concern I have about that is maybe lighting something on fire, and we've already done enough arson in this area for a while.
Yeah, we'll burn something else down. That's our
It might
MO.
be something though, so let's.
Yeah, that's true.
Before we burn the place down, let's make sure nothing we need is inside.
Maybe we can leave in style and set it on fire.
There you go. Yeah, so I guess I can go down first. I kind of squeeze my way down there if nobody else has anything else we need to do before we kind of check out down there.
Okay. So you're climbing down.
Yep.
I'll go in last to make sure nothing comes at us from behind.
All right. As you climb down, you realize that you're climbing down into a chamber that opens up in front of, behind you, because you climb down facing the wall, you turn around, then you look out in the alcove. And, let's see, 5 feet? So where you climb down, the alcove is about 15 feet wide. But after you go about 10 feet away, it opens up into a large chamber, let's say is roughly an additional 20 feet deep, but then it widens to be, let's say, 50 or 60 feet wide. And there it seems to curve around behind you, so that there's probably more cave either to the left or the right, depending upon how you, which direction that you go. The sunlight lights this area, but very dimly, so you can barely see the far wall and everything outside the little alcove. But it doesn't penetrate at all once it starts going around the corners. You're going to have to, at some point, bring or create your own light if you're going to explore those spaces.
Okay. Do we have any torches with us, guys?
I think I've got 8.
Or sun rods, or whatever.
I have a
Well,
cantrip,
no
think.
sun rods, no sun rods. But I assume that in your standard adventuring kit that you're going to have some torches. You certainly haven't used any. Plus, whatever you may have prepared against the wolves last night, you may have stashed a couple of extra.
I have a cantrip spell that'll light 30 feet in multicolored disco pattern. It's,
All right.
Dancing lights, I believe.
There you go. Burn, baby, burn. Oh, well, no,
Yep.
we're going to do that.
So, excuse me. Yeah, I start the party.
All right. So the multicolored lights dance around you. So I'm assuming that you've got, like, I don't know, 4 lights probably bobbing around and slightly changing colored hues, but lighting up the immediate area around you.
Yeah, it's it describes it as being very random and random colors. So, but within 30 feet.
All right. So I guess you guys need to pick a direction, left or right.
I've always been partial to the left.
Yeah. Let's go left.
Okay. As you explore around to the left, you have a very a steep drop at one point of about 6 or 7 feet. But beyond the drop, you can see there is another faintly glowing sacred circle of sorts, and sitting within it is a large, lean person that's sitting up straight. You can estimate that person, if standing, were probably good 8 or 9 feet tall.
Ooh.
So now the question is, where's the first one?
Does it look like the thing we killed in the church?
The blaspheme?
No, nothing like it.
All right, just checking. I didn't think so, but
no. This one features long ceremonial robes, which appear to be they're definitely not pristine. It seems to be it looks as if it lives underground, basically. So the clothes are not necessarily clean. They've got some stains on it. They've got some patches of discoloration, but they're definitely ceremonial robes of some sort.
From just the and maybe Kenthis can kind of figure this out a little bit better. Just from Dead Reckoning, is that circle roughly below the other circle, or is it in a completely different place?
Completely different place.
Okay. All right. All right. So we can either go in guns blazing, or we can try and rationalize with this person, see what they have to say. I guess we can't assume that they're evil, even though they live underground and are in a demon summoning circle. But I won't jump to that conclusion.
You sound so disappointed.
Let's just say I have my doubts.
I won't personally.
I don't like things that live in circles.
Yeah, I won't personally talk to it because so far my talking success has been very low. I tend to offend people, but if you guys want to talk to it, I'm okay with that.
Well, I guess the first question is: are you going to try and go down this little 7-foot drop, or are you going to try and circle around the other way instead?
I think we should look around the other side before we go down.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Let's do that. If it hasn't noticed us yet, then let's circle around, see if we can find a better mode of attack. I mean, approach.
Diplomacy.
All right. Well, if you go around the other side, it's a little bit narrower here. There's more of a slope going down, so you don't have to negotiate the same sort of drop. But the area that it seems to open up to as you go down that slope is kind of a area where there's you're negotiating around a few columns of stone this may have been carved out of through what do you call it, erosion or by craft, and it's not a labyrinth by any means, but it's definitely not a straight shot through it to whatever might be on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And here you find a couple of moldering pallets, as if maybe other people had stayed down here from time to time. Stuff that definitely needs to be changed out. It's not sanitary, not by far. But as you come out to the other side, well, I think at this point I can just kind of give you the map. So it kind of looks like that. There we go. So you can see the alcove here where you came in. Here's the drop with the circle, and you just went down the other side, and you see how it circles around.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of vote that we go back to talk to that creature because I suspect it's imprisoned, and even if we don't want to help it necessarily, we could at least get information out of it and then stab it in the back. If it's evil. If it's evil.
I'm going to ask Irina if that thing resembles any one she knew from town, or even if it was perverted or changed, see if she recognizes it in any way.
Okay. Well, definitely, despite its extreme height, it looked human. In fact, it looked like almost, let's say, a woman in her late 20s or early 30s. And Irina notes that if it weren't for the difference in age or the slightly greenish tinge to the woman's skin, which admittedly could have been the colored lights, it looks like she could have been related in some way to Madame Eva. That was her impression.
Huh. Do we deal with this person directly, or do we go talk to Ava and see if she can? Although I doubt she'd probably tell us who it was.
Yeah. And besides, at this point, that's a bit of a trek back, and we might not get
right. We'd lose 2 days. Yeah.
And we'd probably have to give up more favors. So.
Yeah. I guess we should probably deal with her at this point.
Yeah, I guess so. One way or the other.
Wait a minute. I have something on my character sheet that I forgot about since the beginning of the game. I have a mouse familiar, which in all of the games I've ever played, familiars have just been forgotten instantly. But I've remembered mine now. It's been in my sleeve this whole time. I would like to send my familiar, with the permission of my companions, and see if he can scurry up to this circle and see how the figure reacts, while avoiding being killed or whatever, Because I love my familiar.
I love my familiar, which I've forgotten about until just now. And where did I put those cards?
So I love him more.
I just had your character cards out, and I wanted to make a note of your familiar. Ah, there they are. All right, so...
Oh, sorry.
Does anybody object to the plan?
No, it's
I don't think so.
It's
good as
a
any
plan.
scout. Yeah, it's as good as any scout at this point.
All right.
I'm just curious if it'll, leave the circle, basically, to, I don't know, murder the mouse. I don't know how vicious this thing is.
Okay. Then let's handle it this way. The mouse. Anything I should know about familiars?
Honestly, it gets 2 random abilities per session, and I selected them at the beginning. So if you don't mind, I think I'll just stick with those for now, because it basically...
Okay, can you tell me what those are?
I am finding them, and right now he is poisonous and has counterbite.
The mouse is poisonous?
Yes, it changes from session to session, apparently.
Is it a plague rat?
Yes. Well, sure.
I'm just kidding. Alright, so the... and what is counterbite? Just get a free attack if something attacks it, sort of thing?
I think so. I probably should know the rules for this a lot better. If you want, I can just ignore it for now and learn the rules better for next session.
No, that's fine. Well, yes, you should have it for later, but I don't think it's really going to come into effect now because I just decided what I'm going to do, and I'm afraid it's not very nice. So, as the mouse kind of works its way over stealthily...
Can I name him Fergus first before you kill him in whatever way you're going to kill him?
So in the chat here on the side, we just gotta comment. Go for the eyes, Fergus. Go for the eyes. So the mouse kind of edges. Well, Fergus, I assume that's a boy's name. Sounds boyish to me.
Yes, he's a boy.
Okay, just want to make sure I'm using the correct pronoun. So Fergus kind of stealthily, as mice are wont to do because they're mice, and low on the food chain, kind of stealthily working his way up along the edge of the stone walls, trying to get in. And the circle actually comes pretty near to the wall, but as it gets near to the circle, the hand just shoots out, grabs him,
no.
down the hatch.
Oh, Fergus! Oh, crap. Wait. This was the figure in the circle?
Yes.
Guys, we gotta get Fergus back. Did he chew? Did he chew?
No, but you could hear the gulp.
Well,
There's no mouse scream. There was no time.
how long can a mouse survive in whatever this thing's stomach is?
Well, I suppose it depends on how long it can hold its breath.
Guys, we got a solid couple of minutes here.
How does she react in any other way?
Well, I assume that you really haven't come around the corner yet?
No.
Okay. So, no, she doesn't react in any other way. Not yet.
Okay, so that was plan A. What's our plan B?
But she does have a bit of a smile on her face now. Like a self-satisfied thing.
Okay, I'm gonna break etiquette here and just run forward and say, I have a trade for you.
Okay, and with that, she opens her eyes because she was kind of in a meditative state, and she's like, and then she turns invisible.
I know you're there. I will bring you easily 10 times the amount of food you just ate if you vomit Fergus back up.
Things I think I'd
I'm not
never
gonna hurt
heard.
you if you cooperate.
If you vomit
You
up my
hear
mouth.
the trapdoor slam shut.
Oh,
Well,
guys, I'm sorry, I had to do it. Any chance for Fergus to make it just had to be taken.
Now the only light. Oh, of course, back here it's true. But now, for certain, the only light that you have is the light that comes from your spell, Kenthis.
Okay.
All right.
I'm not healed while we're down here.
I guess I'm gonna go up and try and determine if number one, if there's still anything in this. Actually, maybe we should have Arena fire an arrow into the circle.
I don't know if we should do that. It didn't attack us.
True.
But it ate your mouse. Don't put your mouse back.
Well, what if the arrow kills my possibly still holding in my mouse? We don't know how powerful it is.
I'm gonna just yell, "Show yourself!"
Oh, wait a minute. We have the opal. Can we put that up to my eye? Will that let me see?
Oh,
invisibility?
absolutely. Absolutely.
I forgot.
Okay.
All
So,
these tricks up my sleeves.
yeah,
Good idea.
this is all the way back to our shakedown adventure. So, you hold the opal, the really dark gem, up to your eye, and you would think that it should entirely block your line of sight, which it does for just a moment, but then it kind of has an inner light that grows to show the room beyond, and you see the ugliest, horrifying hag that you have ever imagined or conceived of in all the campfire tales. This thing is tall, it's warty, it's got big, nasty claws that look like they came off of a vulture, and it's got these jagged, rotting teeth, and it's got these black pits for eyes. It's certainly nothing like the tall, younger or middle-aged woman that you had seen before.
Okay, it's ugly, so I vote we kill it.
But is it
And
roughly?
it's still standing within the circle too.
And it ate my mouse. Should we just shoot at it? I have a feeling the circle's going to deflect it or something, but we may as well test it out. Doesn't Irina have a crossbow?
Yes, she
Arena
does.
has crossover, and I have throwing daggers if we need to as well.
I'm going to call out and say,
I've got throwing axes if I need to.
can I get some crossbow fire right there and I point to where I can see the hag? And I clarify that she should aim high, just in case.
All right. So, Bryant, you've got the information on her so that you can roll for her.
Okay. So she's +7, so 22 with the longbow, or no, crossbow. Sorry.
Okay. 22 misses.
Jeez.
Oh, wow. Okay. Bye, Fergus.
Oh boy.
I should mention that I imagined as you guys move out of town, you're moving out of the adventurer tier into the champion tier, which is the other reason why for the level bump. So you guys can potentially start hitting stuff that's above your level as you wander around out here. And then also there may be other things going around like the circle.
How did she react to the arrow?
She kind of leans out of the way as if she saw it coming, but she doesn't leave the circle.
Huh.
All right. At this point, I'm going to ask everybody for initiative.
Okay.
Right.
Because I think that applies.
Oh, wow, a 2.
Are you human, Kenthis?
I don't know. How can I get a 2 on everything?
No, I mean, is your character human or half elf?
Oh, human.
Can you roll twice?
Yeah, you roll twice.
Oh,
Take
well, all right.
That actually reminds me, Stephen, did we decide whether I could take the dwarf racial feat being more appropriate to my character, or do we want to stick with human for me?
No, that's fine. You can take the dwarf one.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so
I got 23.
who said that?
22.
Brian said 23?
We just put him in the sidebar, too.
Oh, excellent. Yes, that's awesome. So, Kenthis is 22 and Raghnar 16. Okay, wow. All right, so the thing inside of the circle gets to go first. And even though she herself is invisible, unless of course you're Kenthis, and that's important to remember that may have also been a factor in Irina missing, is that she can't actually see the thing. All she knows is that it's big and inside the circle, which is about 10 feet round. But you can all kind of feel the effects as magical energy gets drawn in towards the circle. And it's like a rushing of wind into that spot as she gathers power. And then we are up to Ember.
All right. I'm going to use my Boots of Ferocious Advance and run up and engage her, and yell, "Show yourself, demon!" Because I think everything is a demon, and take a swing at where I think she is with my hammer. Let's see here. Oh, that's a 20. Net 20.
Nice.
So that's a lot of dice.
Well, you can always roll 3 dice and then take the average on everything else.
Well, it's just double. It's just double damage, right?
Yes.
Think so, yes.
Okay. So yeah, so it's only 5 dice. It's not that many. Actually,
Well, it's not just double the dice.
I have to decide what maneuver I'm doing too. Yeah, so I'm going to do my deadly assault, which is I reroll any ones or twos for damage, which I got a 2, 3, 10, 19, 24, 48, 58 damage.
All right. That is a considerable hit.
I am very much not pleased with this thing. Give back Fergus!
So,
you barely knew him.
what kind of weapon are you using again?
A warhammer.
Okay. So your hammer connects solid with something, and you hear this huge thing stagger, and the focal point of that inrush of energy changes and moves a few feet to the one side, following the line of your hammer, and you see rocks scatter as if the thing has got a foot outside of the circle.
Huh.
And then, of course, there's that wet, meaty sound, and the thick black blood that now stains the end of your hammer.
Excellent.
All right, and then we are up to Kenthis.
I'm going to gather power this turn, which lets me roll a d6 to get a chaotic benefit, and later on it'll double my damage.
That what the creature is doing is gathering power itself. You would know that.
Okay. But I can still gather power?
Oh, yes. Yes, you can.
Okay. I got deal damage equal to my level plus my charisma modifier to all nearby staggered enemies, and I don't believe that monster is staggered.
No? Where's your faith? Where's that sense of optimism?
My faith died with Fergus.
Okay. All right, so you gathered power, and that was your thing.
Yep.
All right, so then that brings us up to Rygar. Oh, yeah, up to Rygar. Raghnar. Totally went somewhere else with that.
I'm going to run up and engage as well.
Okay.
And see what I can do. Probably not that much. Okay, let my attack comes again. With that, I'm not doing anything. On a 2, I'm going to miss. And
But you also have flexible attacks, don't you?
yes. So, I will do make them flinch, and they will take 13 miss damage.
All right.
And that's it.
Okay. So I'm reading invisibility here because, like a chump, I didn't look it up to begin with. Attacks have a 50% chance of missing completely before the attack roll. So, I gave the crit because it was a crit, and because I was ignorant. But I would say that, and here's the neat thing: if you miss on the 50% chance, then you miss completely, and they don't even take miss damage. So, I've got a coin, regular heads and tails. It's not two-headed.
Okay.
Heads is going to be that you hit. Tails is that you miss. Heads, you hit,
All right.
or would have hit, so the miss damage will apply. You said
All right.
13?
13, yes.
Got it. All right. So, close that up. Yay, indexes. All right. So everybody's had a chance to go at this point, and now we're back up to the monster in the circle. And the gathering of power stops, and I'm going to tell you that she rolled a 5 on her gather power. And one of the things that Kenthis is going to know, she's going to have a general idea of what that effect has on the area, even though it hasn't expended itself yet. And in this case, you could, Kenthis, especially since you're gathering power yourself, you feel as though normally when you gather power, more power rushes in to fill the void. It's like a never-ending well that you just draw on. You have more and more concentration, but the background remains the same.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the case when she gathered power this time.
Wow.
When she gathered power, it's like she was actually depleting the magical potential of the area while she was doing it.
Okay. Is this mechanically affecting me or just telling me how powerful she is?
This can potentially can affect things. So this is going to grant her the ability to suppress one ongoing magical effect, or the first spell cast by an enemy is cast as one level lower than what you actually cast it at.
Okay.
Which, because you gathered power, is not going to be as big of a difference as.
Right. What happens if that spell can only be cast at a certain level? Like if I'm casting a 5th level spell that only has a 5th level version?
Good question. I had not considered that. I guess it would depend upon the spell.
Okay.
So we'll deal with that when you go to cast it.
All right.
All right. So now that she's done that, she unleashes chain lightning, and when she does so, she pops back into visible, and you see that she's kind of shuffled back into fully within the ring, and she casts chain lightning, and ooh, all right. So she's going to cast this at Ember because he's the one that actually hit her. And she has an 20 against physical defense.
That is a hit, barely.
Barely, you say?
Yes.
Barely is enough. Her base damage was 50.
Okay.
But she gathered power.
Okay.
So I believe that.
Wow.
So I believe that's 100.
Okay. I still have 6 hit points left.
Oh my god.
That's more than I would have.
If she had done that and rolled even, she would have gotten a free attack against another enemy that's close to the previous target. So that's how the chain lightning could have jumped.
Yikes. Okay.
Yeah, maybe porting the gather power into here, I should make it work a little bit differently because monster hits are a little high.
It's all right.
Yeah, I'm going to change that. I don't know how I'm going to change it, but I'm going to change that.
I would make it just do a flat bonus instead of doubling.
Yeah, I think so.
That's how I would do a monster like that.
Probably an extra 20 damage. So instead of doing the extra 50, he gets an extra 20.
Yeah, probably.
All right. That would work because and let's say we implemented that now. So instead of 100, you took 70.
Okay.
Some things you only learn by doing, man. So
yep.
I apologize for the scare.
No, that's all right. Like I said, I was still alive. I was still standing. So.
All right. Yeah, right. Barely. All right.
Barely.
So that's her action. She doesn't step out to do that. She's visible now, and she does not turn invisible after unleashing the spell. But when she becomes visible to everybody except Kenthis, who I assume is still using the opal, you still see her in the form that she assumed that you saw her in, the very large but otherwise normal-looking woman with a slight Greek cast to her tinge. Apparently, whatever disguise that she's using can't completely mask who and what she is, not only because of her size, but also some of that green color is coming through. And she snarls at you, but it is Ember's turn. You can see what you're swinging at now, man.
All right. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take as a quick action, I'm going to rally, because that's one of my skills. So I'm going to use a recovery to gain back 26, 37 plus to gain back 41 hit points.
And yes, as John noted in the chat, we are at escalation die 1, so you get to add 1 to all of your attack rolls.
Okay. So that brings me up to 77. All right, and I'm going to say that that circle has something to give her strength, so I'm going to, instead of trying to hit her, I'm going to try and basically tackle her and drag her out of that circle. If that
Okay.
would that be something I could? And you know, I'm not sure how I could use my Boots of Ferocious Advance to assist in that, but I'm basically going to try and bull rush her out of that circle.
Alright, so we're talking a strength-based attack against her physical defense, because you're not trying to get past her natural armor or anything to try and actually deal her harm. It doesn't matter what protects her from attacks physically from damage. It just matters that you actually hit her to push her back.
Okay. So that's a 25 against for
Okay.
physical.
And so I'm going to say that given her size and the boots, that looks good. You can bull rush her right out of the ring. So she staggers back, and now you're in the ring, and she's just outside of it. And as you enter the ring, you feel as though the air is a little close, and it's almost as if as she moves out of the ring and you move into it, as if the air is moving to assist you.
Did you just change places with her? Like imprisonment?
Yes. I don't know what's going on with this, but
You're the new genie.
She was gathering strength with that thing, and I don't like the fact that she just put 18,000 volts through me. So.
All right, so now we are up to Kenthis.
All right,
She's out of the ring, invisible.
All right. Well, so if it's too difficult right now, that's fine. I have another spell I can cast. But if I want to cast a 5th level spell with no 3rd level spell version.
Oh, okay. So, and I did say 1 level lower instead of 2 because I forgot we don't do evens here. What spell are you looking to cast?
3 Dooms.
3 Dooms. Alright, let's take a look at this. Is that a sorcerer spell, or is this adopted from the wizard? And we have here 3 Dooms. So, 4 times 10, you take damage the same type. Oh, so you're dealing damage to her, and she's dealing damage, and you're taking the same damage on yourself?
Much less. I'm taking it on my...
Oh, she takes 10 times as much?
Yes.
Alright. So I would say that she only takes, let's say, 7 times as much. Or...
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Alright,
So the multiplier is lower.
In that case, I'm going to go with Chain Lightning instead, and I'll just cast it as a 3rd level spell because I had it prepared as a 5th. Or I'll cast it as a 5th and see if she mutes it, which I'm sure she will.
Yeah, she mutes the next spell, so doesn't matter what spell that you do.
Alright.
But also you gathered power.
Yes.
So remember that doubling effect is still there.
Alright. Yeah, I'm still going to do Lightning Fork, and that is attack. I got a 15 versus her physical defense.
A 15 against her physical defense is going to miss.
Yeah. Okay.
And
on a miss, though, I do half damage.
Oh, do you do?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, excellent. So
I'll
roll
for
anyway.
that.
So you used a 5th level slot, but you're only rolling 76 instead of 60-10.
And it comes out to 5, 9, 14, 16, 21, 24 damage. So, but then it
But
would.
I think that still gets doubled, right?
Yeah, but then it would be cut in half, so it just 24
Yeah. Okay.
evens out.
So, all right. Well, between the wounds that you've all inflicted so far, I would have to say that she looks to be about at 80% of what she was.
Wow.
And we are up to Ember. Not Ember, sorry, Ragnar.
All right. I'm going to power attack.
All right.
All right.
There's room for you within the circle, or are you going to skirt around it to get to her?
I'm going to go around, just in case, which is probably just as well since I rolled a 20, and I don't want that messed up. All right, so that is also a lot of damage, especially since it's power attack. 5 to 10 seconds. Let's see, there's a natural 20. I'm also going to use Deadly Assault, which means I re-roll all my dice because they were all ones and twos. They were all 1s and 2s.
Wow.
Wow. Go Deadly Assault.
Thank you, Deadly Assault. Let's see. That's better. Let's see. 18, 24, 28, 33, 41. So that's 82. And all right. Dice? I'm telling you. All right. 82, 88, 90, 94.
Wow. That's a huge hit. She does not like you right now.
Oh, I didn't figure she would.
Is she at 70% yet?
She is definitely staggered.
Yay!
Alright.
And she gets skewered, and she cries out in pain and this horrified look in her eyes as if something's gone terribly wrong. And you notice that at that point that the ring on her finger that you didn't previously notice has started glowing with a faint light. And she lashes out with a complicated gesture, and a portal opens up between both Ragnar and Ember, and out of the portal swarm dozens of imps. They're flying all around you, scratching and biting. That's ongoing 15 points of damage at the beginning of your turns, and at the end, right. It's not like 4th edition. No. So it's at the end of the turn before you make the check to ditch them? Right. So these things are persistent. So it's not a saving throw. They're actually summoned and they're here, but you have to lose them. You got to ditch them somehow. So it's not a saving throw. It's actually like a check to get rid of them.
Are they killable?
Potentially, but they're swarming all over you, clawing and biting. So you'd have to somehow swing at them without hitting yourself.
Okay.
I'm just looking for something a little bit more creative than a saving throw.
Are they on me or only Ember and Ragnar?
Only on them. They're staying near the portal.
Have fun with that, guys.
But the cloud of them swarming around these two guys does partially obscure your view, and that of Irina, who hasn't fired since that first bolt. You got to remember her,
true.
Bryant.
Yes, I do.
Because I keep forgetting. After the hag summons these demons to do her bidding and cover her escape, she turns invisible again.
Nice.
And now we are back up to Ember. Ember, you're being swarmed by imps.
And escalation die 2, correct?
Yes, escalation die Number 2.
Okay. I'd love to go chasing after her and just say to hell with the imps.
Well, you haven't heard the trapdoor, and you haven't seen any light on the far side of this chamber where you would be rounding around to the alcove.
And without Kenthis's light, I'd be screwed chasing her. So, yeah, I'm going to take my shield, just start swinging around, trying to clear these imps off of me.
Okay. They're definitely demonic in nature, so if you're just trying to swat them away or otherwise dissuade them from getting close to you, you could make some sort of a background check based on your, of course I've got the thing right here, don't I? So based on your career as a demon hunter.
Okay. Yeah, but, I'm gonna use that information because I'm sure that I've run into things like these damn imps before.
Okay. Well, building on that, is there something in particular that you could shout at them or say, or is there maybe something special quality to your shield that might aid you in driving these things off?
My shield it was given to me by the Crusaders, and it does have the insignia on it is a pile, basically a pile of demons at a wall, dead demons, and I'm just going to start shouting as many of the power words that I know of, that I've heard being used in the hellholes, to try and by the clerics that I've traveled with, to try and get rid of these things. I mean, I may not have actual
clerical
power
powers
over them, but clerical powers, but I might be able to at least scare them off of me, or at least make them think that that I have clerical powers.
All right.
So I'm gonna start doing that and just try and intimidate them off, for lack of a better word.
All right. So excellent. So make your check.
Not very great. 16. Sorry. 18 with the 2.
Now, background checks get your level bonus, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you'll also get a stat bonus if it's applicable. Did you add a stat bonus in?
Well, I rolled a 7 plus.
Okay. Plus 5.
Plus 5 is 12.
And I have plus 4 for your background, which is 16.
16. Okay, so then plus I'm guessing it's intelligence.
Well, it could be intelligence because we're relying on memory, or if you're just trying to shock them away, you could rely on something physical for strength, push them back, or you could do intimidation, which is generally charisma.
Yeah, the only bonus really that would be useful would be the strength bonus, and so I guess I'll use that. So that adds a 4, so that's 20.
Okay.
Then plus 2 for the escalation is 22.
All right, so you actually literally make an impression on the face of a few of these. And the image on your shield isn't just painted, it's also kind of embossed. There's a raised impression.
Yeah,
so
and it also when somebody attacks me with against my physical defense, I get a physical defense plus resistance of 11 plus, and it drips black ichor, so that may have
all right. So what I see happening here is that these things start swarming you, clawing and crawling all over you, and looking for soft spots to start chewing through. And here you are taking your shield and swatting them out of the air. And as you do this, flicks of ichor start flying off of your shield and splatting all over these things. And at first, at first they don't seem to react, but because the shield commemorates a major demon defeat, some of that impression makes it magical. That weeping ichor is sizzling as it flies out onto the demons, almost as if they got splashed with holy water, and they're just like, get off, in whatever language they're doing, and they try and avoid your shield, and by consequence you, because this thing is dangerous to them. They don't like the feel of the pain. They're not supposed to be able to be hurt that easily. And so they stay well out of its way. All right, so that's pretty cool. That's drawing on your background to find a reason to keep these things off of you, to ditch them. You just made yourself entirely unpalatable in a way. Cool. And but that does take your action. And if you want to move to reposition yourself, you still get to do that.
Trying to decide if I want to move out of the circle and try and bait her back into it or not.
Here's something else about the circle. You felt that, you remember how I said the air was kind of pushing you around, guiding your movements as if to help you?
Yeah.
You felt that same effect here. And that made your swings more effective. You feel like you should have missed that one, but the air just kind of made it hard to move in a particular direction, and you ended up hitting it. And likewise, you feel as though those same currents of air that are almost tangible, or I should say more tangible than you would have expected, also seem to be hampering the imps in some way as they try to approach you.
Okay, I'm not going to move out of the circle then. I'm going to just kind of try and position myself so that I'm free from these damn imps as much as possible.
Well, your check enables that. They don't want nothing of you anymore.
Okay. Then I guess so I only have a move left, right?
Yep. Which you said you were going to stay in the circle.
Yeah, so I'm all set.
All right.
But I'm sure that Irina would like to actually shoot at something.
Absolutely.
So I guess she'll just shoot at where she last saw the hag.
That's fine. So she's got a 50-50 shot of hit or miss before she even rolls. It's going to be the same head-tails thing. Tails, she would miss.
Okay. So she just, between the imps and the disappearing, it's a wild shot, and she pings it off the wall.
All right, Kenthis. You know what you're doing?
I'm going to gather power.
You're going to gather power again?
Yeah.
Did I ever ask you what your gather power looks like?
It has me roll for a random chaotic benefit, and then it doubles my damage afterwards.
All right, but I mean, when you gather power, the effect that has
guess what it
on the
actually
environment.
looks like.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like maybe some sort of like a static electricity effect, low buzz maybe.
And whenever a spark goes off, it always traces back to you?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, have at it.
All right, I got a 3, which means so the hag is staggered now, right?
Yes.
All right, so I deal 5 damage plus because that's my level, plus my charisma modifier, which is all right. So that's 8 damage. But then what confuses me is on level 5 it says I add 2 times my ability modifier to my damage. Does that take effect now? All right, so that's 11 damage, but then my Spell Fist ability also...
Oh, God.
No, that's only when I miss. That's only when I miss, so it's 11 damage.
All right. So she takes that even though there's no actual attack going on. She just, ugh.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of extra discharge.
You said 13?
11.
11. Okay. She's down to 100 hit points even.
Wow.
So, we're back to Raghnar.
Alright. Since I'm
And you were
probably not going
covered with
to...
imps.
I'm going to try to get rid of the imps. I'm going to try... I'm going to try something similar to what Ember did, except I'm going to be a little more straight up on the intimidation. I want to see if I can grab one. I mean, how big are these things? They're not...
They're about the size of cats.
Okay. So basically I want to grab one, grab it by its skull, and just crush the skull in front of all the others, and then throw the body at one of the others, and basically just show them, if you stick around, I'm going to kill all the rest of you the exact same way.
Alright, so this is probably building on your mercenary captain background.
Yes, exactly. Intimidating the crap out of people that don't like me is a very in-charge kind of move.
It's fairly straightforward.
Yes. 15 plus... it's going to be 20... should I use charisma or should I use dex?
Because you're actually crushing its skull in your gauntleted hand, I would think that the challenge here is not... I think the greater challenge is not catching it, but actually crushing it.
Okay.
With your
Well,
strength.
in that case, my total is a 29.
Yeah. After you pop its head like a ripe fruit, and the brains just kind of squish out from between your gauntleted fist, they all pretty much dive back into the portal, which winks out of existence.
Alright.
Excellent.
You guys managed to ditch all of them without actually taking any damage yet.
I know. My dice have been good and bad, but mostly good, thankfully.
Well, they did what they were supposed to do, which is eat up actions. The
Yeah.
damage was actually secondary there. So,
Um,
awesome.
I'm just gonna move to where I last saw her, and that's pretty much it.
You walk right into her.
Naturally.
Alright. We're up to her turn.
Now, if you're invisible, do you have to make a disengage check?
Not unless you have some way of knowing that she's trying to get out of the way, I would think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You have to have a really good sense of where she is, and just bumping into her may not be enough for that, I would think. However, since he's close enough to be right up to her, you can see where, in the dim light, where patches of the floor appear to be wet, though you can't tell what they're wet with.
Mhm.
Ooh,
Can I, as
forgot
a
about
quick
that.
action, pick up some dirt from my feet and basically throw it? Maybe some of it will stick and stay visible or something like that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I would say that that is a success. You see some dirt and pebbles floating in the air.
That will hopefully be enough.
At least we can keep an
And
eye
then
on
they
it.
shoot forward as if she's reaching out to attack you. 15 against armor class. I assume that's good.
That will.
Alright. And she becomes visible again, and she is looking quite haggard. Haha.
Escalation die 3.
Escalation die of 3. And we are back up top with Ember.
Okay, I am. I hate to relinquish this circle of power, but it is a circle of power, which I don't particularly like in the first place. So I'm gonna go run over there and try and smack her with my hammer. now that she's visible again, and see what I can do here. I'm gonna run up to her. Ooh, so 18, 21, 29, 32 against AC.
Oh, that's a hit.
All right, so that is, and because she is staggered, my Warhammer, the Bone Crusher, allows me to do more damage.
Awesome.
It allows me to do how much extra here? I have down. Where is that? So I don't have here. 2d8. Well, it's 2d8 adventure, but that's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I do an additional 2d8 from my boots because I was running at her.
You're killing me. Her.
Oh, and I'm going to do the deadly assault as well, because it was an even hit. It was an even hit. So
It's like the Columbo of fighters. Just one more thing.
Pretty much, yeah.
that would be 62 damage.
All right.
Nice.
She is down to 48. All right. And she's visible now. Does Irina care to take a shot?
Yes, I forgot about her again.
No, you didn't.
Oh, poor Irina. She rolled a 5, so that's a 12.
Yep,
So
that's miss.
She's probably not used to fighting these behemoth monsters, so a little bit rattled.
Kenthis has gathered power.
Yes. All
Prepare
right,
to
I am
discharge.
casting 3 dooms as
All right.
a 5th
Full
level.
power.
Did she mute it or no?
Well, she muted the previous spell.
Okay.
She could only mute the very next spell that was cast and only within a round.
Oh, okay, cool.
So you're well past that.
All right, I just got a 26 versus physical defense.
Oh, that's a hit.
All right, and then I'll roll 5 times 10, 50 times 2, 100 damage to her,
Holy cow!
and I take 5 damage.
Now, how does 3 Dooms manifest? What kind of energy and how does it appear?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I rolled for that too. That it starts out in my typical form as lightning, but then as I give it over to the universe, it manifests as a ball of cold energy and just sort of slams into her, causing a crystallization of her vital organs.
Okay. So as this bolt of magical energy sends a wave of cold air past everybody that's in front of Kenthis, and slams into the hag. And the first thing that happens is she kind of like flies back and freezes in place like she's petrifying. But as she does so, she resumes her natural form with the long razor claws and the deformed features and the virulent green skin. And she and as the ice forms, it grows out from inside of her. So she kind of expands out, and her fingers become fat like sausages. Her arms become a little bit more pumped up, and her face just kind of swells as the crystals of ice push out from inside. And then she falls over and breaks into a couple of big-sized chunks.
First order of business, I dash over and attempt to recover Fergus's body.
So you hack at her body, trying to pry her apart, and
I would like to add that I'm weeping uncontrollably as I do this.
All right. First, don't forget to record the damage that you took.
Oh yes, I already did that. We're good on that.
All right. Heads or tails?
Heads.
You got it. So, um, you were initially quite dismayed to see how deep the cold has penetrated, because you're hacking and hacking, and it's like, if she was if she hadn't been frozen, it'd be a lot faster to cut through. But you're hacking and hacking, and and you're starting to despair, thinking maybe that you froze her straight through to her core. But as you go, it starts getting a little gooier, and as you rip out her entrails, you have a slime encrusted Fergus come out, and you have to pump his little mousy legs to get him to cough up the stomach acid.
Oh my god, he's alive? I need a healing potion.
much worse for wear.
He's gonna go hide for another 4 sessions.
You have to pop off the top of the healing potion and dunk him in like Luke in a Bacta tank and Hoth.
I don't think we actually have one.
And have him bathed.
But at least he's alive. I did not expect that.
I was totally prepared for him to be dead. But I let it ride on a coin flip, and that is fine.
I appreciate that. I love
we
that.
We did offer pretty quickly. I mean, all things considered.
Yeah, fourth round.
And I got a kill. I mean, that's news in and of itself. I think I've rolled all 2s. Game
oh yes, Kenthis finally killed something.
Yeah. I think gather power is much more important than I thought it was.
I guess so. So she had 290 hit points to start, and you guys will see the full stat block with whatever little rewrite that I do when I put it up with the episode layer. And so loot, she definitely has a ring that is definitely magical. There's a ring of invisibility. So it works just like the wizard spell, except that it recharged when she was staggered. So it's usually only good for once per battle, but if you're staggered while you're wearing it, you can get a second use out of it.
I think maybe giving this to our cleric might be the best idea.
That makes sense.
Since he can then more easily keep our asses alive.
Alright, we'll see if he takes it. He seems more like a stand-up and fight kind of guy.
That's true.
He's pretty stout.
On the other hand, even for a stand-up and fight kind of guy, striking out of invisibility can be a decided advantage. So.
Oh yes, I'm sure that there are some things that he would not mind at all ambushing.
Right.
That will kind of fit him against demons and such as well, where he doesn't need to show honor.
And I'm sure that whispering heresy into people's ears would be, well, invisible, would be right up his alley, too.
All right. So, clearly, she was up to something. But what exactly depends upon your ability to investigate the situation. First, if anybody's staggered, you have to spend recoveries to bring yourself up to at least half, if I recall correctly.
No, that is right.
Yeah, I'm not staggered because I did use the recovery during battle.
Right.
So I am above half. I may use one anyways to bump myself up a little bit closer in case something else does 100 damage to me.
I don't think you have to worry about that for this session. We've got half an hour left, and I don't expect that we're going to be doing any more combats in that time.
I think I'll spend it.
I thought we were going to be done by now.
Oh yeah, it is about 7:30. You're right. I'm sorry. I keep thinking it's like the weekday night, even though I'm clearly awake instead of half asleep and running the game. Okay, so
that would be all okay for going on, but tonight I have to. I haven't even.
You had something around 10, right?
Yeah, it's actually 9 tonight, but yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're on another coast.
Yep.
All right, so we're gonna call it there for the evening. Any other last minute stuff that you guys want to do before we call it quits? Any questions
recovery
or
to get
anything I
back
can
to
answer real
full,
quick?
but otherwise I'm good.
I
All
don't
right,
think so.
then we'll save everything else for after the recap when we play again in about a week and a half.
All right. If I do stat out Fergus in between these sessions, I assume you want him to be on like 1 HP, right?
Yeah, he should start low. But
Okay.
I somehow think that it's not very difficult at all for familiars to heal themselves up. And
Yeah.
I'll spend a few minutes reading up on them too, now that I know you have one.
Yeah, I just remembered today, like I said.
Yeah, just in time to not put yourself in any real peril. Yes, I understand.
You've all read Order of the Stick, right? Or at least some of
Yes.
you have. Yeah. I love those first comics where they remember they have the bird.
Well, it's been coming into play more often lately too. So if you've dropped it, it's worth picking up again. Have a lot of fun with that one.
Yeah, I haven't read it for a while. Mostly because it's one of those things where every time I start reading it, inevitably those are the times where he's going weeks between updates.
Yeah.
So I like him wait a while and let it build up.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right.
Well, that's a night. I'm going to
was
stop
fun.
the broadcast.